Hi, I'm Pastor Kenny Callahan, and I'd like to welcome you to my office. This week, I'm studying a passage of Scripture from John chapter 17, verses 1 through 11. And here's what I've been thinking. This sacred text describes an interlude, a period of waiting and transition. In John's story, it's the waiting between all that Jesus has done up to now and what he is about to do. It is an interlude that is both intense and important. Jesus is praying an intimate prayer intended to prepare the disciples for their next step in their lives as Jesus returns to Abba God. You see, the disciples would be crossing into new territory from being Jesus' students to being Jesus' messengers in the world. So Jesus prepares them and prays for them for this new adventure as they cross into a boundary, into unfamiliar and nevertheless God-beloved territory. I've been thinking about the relevance of this passage of Scripture in this season of our lives, the season of COVID-19. And I've been thinking, could this be an important interlude for us? Meaning, might God be preparing us to enter new territory? A time when we experience and acknowledge how God is at work preparing us for what is to come in our lives and within the ministry of our congregation. Might we also consider who and what God is calling us to be, or how God is using our experiences to be a blessing to others? Or might we think about who God needs us to be in our ever-changing world, especially during this pandemic and beyond? The truth is, we are learning a lot about the divine, about ourselves, about one another, our church, and our world. We're seeing our ministry touch lives in ways we never imagined. As we continue to thrive as a congregation, we are seeing our congregation change before our very eyes as we realize that doing things the same old simply won't work anymore. God is calling us to something new and preparing us and enabling us to do things differently. And in all these things, God will be with us, comforting us, celebrating with us, strengthening us for whatever may come. And God will also be preparing us to be messengers of good news, comforting others by sharing God's transforming love and preparing us to do greater works of justice as we live with less fear and more generosity, as we look out for the rights of others, preparing us to strive and insist on equity for all people as we work together for a more just community and a more just world. I invite you to join me as we go into uncharted new territory for an amazing adventure.